What if simply putting a little cinnamon on your forehead could unlock an old door to unseen worlds? Not in a figurative way, but as a real opening, a secret path between the ordinary and the sacred. For ages, wise people from the East and desert mystics talked about an eye that looks inward, not outward. It's an eye without a pupil or a clear front, but it sees clearly and deeply. This third eye, located right between your eyebrows, isn't a New Age idea, it's a powerful energy spot, known in old traditions as the command center. It doesn't control your muscles, but your inner sights. It doesn't move your body, but guides your soul. And surprisingly, cinnamon comes into play. Yes, the same warm spice that makes desserts sweet and drinks fragrant. But did you know that long ago, alchemists saw cinnamon as fire in plant form? Its scent reaches deep, its oil gets things going, and touching your skin with it creates a gentle buzz that wakes up sleepy energy areas in your body. In old Indian medicine, Ayurveda, and some Egyptian rituals, people used it to activate their gut feelings and open psychic connections. So, what happens if you put cinnamon right on your brow with strong intent and mindful breathing? Is it just a nice feeling, or is it the key to something bigger? In this video, we'll explore an old and forgotten method that connects the physical and the spiritual, the special way of applying cinnamon to the third eye. We'll see how this simple, yet mysterious, action can light up your inner vision, open pathways to intuition, and link you back to subtle levels of awareness. We'll discuss what the soft fire symbolizes, how this eye sees without looking, and the sacred act of anointing your body as a place of insight. We'll also dive into the spiritual and philosophical background of this practice. We'll explain how it works from an energy point of view and give you easy tips to include it thoughtfully and deeply in your daily life. Because sometimes the biggest secrets aren't hidden in old books, but in the fragrant powder of a simple spice placed right at the spot between your eyes. Are you ready to open that door? Since humans first started thinking, the area between the eyebrows has been seen as more than just skin. Ancient cultures didn't see it as just a body part, but as a spiritual gateway, a spot where the soul could get messages without words, images without eyes, and truths without logic. The ancient Indian sages called it Ajna, the command chakra, because they believed higher impulses of being came from there. The Egyptians showed it as the Eye of Horus, a symbol of balance between intuition and logic, heaven and earth. For Taoists, this spot was like an antenna for the Shen, the pure spirit, and activating it needed more than just meditation, it required using living substances in special ways. Among these substances, cinnamon showed up often in practices for anointing, purifying, and activating. Even though we see it as a cooking ingredient today, in ancient times, its use was mainly spiritual. The Bible mentions it as one of the sacred ingredients in the anointing oil used by prophets to make things holy and open channels for talking with the divine. In ancient China, cinnamon, especially from the Cinnamomum cassia tree bark, was considered a yang element, able to warm not just the body but also the spirit. Why cinnamon? Because its fire doesn't burn, it awakens. Cinnamon vibrates at a gentle frequency that stimulates energy pathways without causing harm. When put on the forehead at the third eye's center, its gentle warmth goes into your energy field and creates a feeling of opening. It's not the sun's heat, but like the warmth of sunrise, steady yet soft. Energetically speaking, the third eye needs clarity to work. And clarity isn't just the absence of darkness, it's the presence of inner vision. Many modern practices focus on meditating for hours to open the ajna. But the more refined ancient traditions knew that certain plants could act as helpful tools. Cinnamon isn't like a drug or some magic cure. Think of it more as a message carrier for spiritual energy. In old mystery schools from the Middle East, they talked about the eye's fire that's always awake. To keep this fire burning, wise people would put warm oils and spices on themselves. They did this in special ceremonies that included singing, breathing, and focused thinking. Having just the right amount of gentle heat was crucial. Too much, and it would harm and close off the energy path. Too little, and nothing would change. So, cinnamon became a symbol of balance, acting like a connection between the physical world and a higher, unseen one, bridging our everyday senses and sacred sight. What seems like a simple action, rubbing cinnamon on your forehead, is actually a throwback to old ceremonies meant to bring inner light. It's not about old superstitions, but about a forgotten way of spiritual practice where your body, your intentions, and the plants around you work together to reveal deeper parts of who you are. The third eye doesn't force itself open. It won't respond to demands or special tricks. Instead, it opens gently, like flowers at dawn, when the conditions are right. When your soul is ready, and when a soft presence touches it from within. In this light, putting cinnamon on your forehead isn't just a quirky idea. It's a special, transformative act, a quiet invitation to your inner fire. The key to this lies in combining three things: the spot, the substance, and your intention. Each part on its own has power, but together, they awaken a strength beyond the physical. Let's look at them one by one. First, the spot. The third eye is the center for spiritual vision. Located between your eyebrows, this Ajna center isn't just an energy point, it's a powerful, multidimensional swirl. It's where different parts of your nervous system meet and where your pineal gland sits. Many ancient wise people believed this tiny gland was where the soul resided. From a spiritual viewpoint, the third eye is like a door. Not a door to another world, but a way to see this world more deeply. When this center becomes active, your perception broadens, your gut feelings become stronger, your thoughts clearer, and your choices more in line with your inner truth. But the Ajna needs warmth, it needs stimulation that's not harsh, but gentle and vibrant. Second, the substance, cinnamon as a carrier of conscious warmth. Cinnamon isn't just a fragrant spice, on an energy level, it's like a plant spark. When you put it on your skin, especially on your brow, it creates a slight warm feeling. This warmth isn't random. It boosts tiny blood flow, tickles subtle nerve endings, and most importantly, it makes you more aware of that area. Your brain instantly pays attention to any new feeling. When you feel that warm tingle from the cinnamon, your mind focuses on the third eye spot. And where your attention goes, your energy follows. This is a basic rule of working with energy. So, cinnamon acts as a guide, directing your attention to that sacred entryway that's been inactive because it hasn't been used. Third, the intention, the spark that turns an action into a ritual. But neither the spot nor the cinnamon will work if your intention isn't clear. Energy listens to the thought that guides it. That's why the moment you apply cinnamon should be done quietly, with full presence, almost like a ceremony. It's not just putting something on your forehead. It's like touching the soul's doorway with fire and purpose. You can silently tell yourself something like, "May this fire awaken my inner sight, may what I couldn't see before now be shown to me." In this moment, your action becomes a powerful energetic mark. You've created a small ritual, a symbolic act full of power, like a chemist mixing things for a transformation. You're bringing together physical material, cinnamon, energy, heat, and awareness, intention. This is where the magic begins. The third eye doesn't follow logic, it responds to how well energies match up. And this combination helps it fulfill its purpose, to see what's invisible, to understand beyond what you first see, and to remember the wisdom that was always there, hidden by what seems obvious. When you put cinnamon on your brow with a clear intention, you're not doing a beauty routine or a simple experiment. You're sending a clear message to your deeper consciousness, I am ready to see. And when that message is strong and clear, the opening responds. It's not like a sudden burst, but more like a glowing ember starting to burn from inside. The first thing many people notice after this practice is a slight feeling of pressure or throbbing in the center of their forehead. This feeling isn't imagined. It's actually the pineal gland becoming active because of the outside stimulation, heat, smell, attention, and the directed energy flow. The pineal, that tiny gland shaped like a pine cone, is right behind the spot you're applying the cinnamon. It's surrounded by a very sensitive network of tiny blood vessels that react to temperature changes and subtle electrical signals. When the pineal gland is active, it releases tiny amounts of dimethyltryptamine, DMT, a substance some believe is linked to vivid dreams, heightened awareness, and unexpected spiritual experiences. While using cinnamon won't cause a psychedelic trip, it can open your perception to things that are more symbolic, quieter, and deeply archetypal. Gentle visions may appear, intuitions become sharper, and meaningful coincidences increase. Life feels more connected. What used to be random events now seem like messages. What was once mental noise turns into a flow of images and meanings. It's as if your soul, seeing that the doorway has been respectfully touched, begins to share its secret maps. However, this awakening isn't always comfortable. The third eye is also the eye of truth. When it opens, it doesn't filter what you see to make you feel good. It reveals, shows, illuminates. This means it can bring up old mental blocks, past emotions, hidden fears, or wrong beliefs that have made your perception unclear. In this way, the third eye doesn't just open, it also purifies your inner vision. This is where cinnamon has an extra role, it not only activates but also supports. Its warm and sweet nature lessens the impact of this awakening. It's different to open this eye with a cold mental exercise than to do it with something that nourishes, gently touches, and balances. Cinnamon is the fire that doesn't destroy but strengthens. It's the candle that lights up without blinding you. Another important point is how your body reacts. Some people feel their breathing deepens after the practice, as if their body is adjusting to a new rhythm. Others report clearer dreams, old memories coming back like missing puzzle pieces, or even a strong urge to write, create, or just observe. The eye that sees also inspires, because by looking beyond, your creative centers wake up. Ideas that were dormant, paths you didn't dare to explore before. But all this only happens when you treat the process with respect. If you just do it without thought, without quiet intention, the ritual loses its power. The key is to remember you're touching something sacred with a substance that carries the ancient fire's energy. It's not about forcing something to happen, but about creating space for something bigger to unfold. And when it does, you're changed. Because someone who has awakened their inner eye no longer walks blindly. Even with their physical eyes closed, they see more than ever. If you just do it without thought or quiet focus, the special meaning of the act disappears. It's really important to remember that you're connecting with something very special, using a substance that holds the ancient energy. The goal isn't to make something wild happen, but to create a space for a bigger experience. When that happens, you won't be the same person. Someone who has awakened their inner sight isn't lost anymore. Even if their eyes are closed, they see more clearly than ever before. When we talk about waking up your third eye with a bit of cinnamon and clear intent, we're not talking about a magic trick to get away from the world. Instead, it's a subtle way to live in the world with more clarity. Spiritual sight isn't about flying off somewhere, it's about looking deeply at what's already here and seeing it with fresh eyes. That's why the real power of this practice shows up when you take it beyond the specific ritual moment and weave it into your whole life. Here are some tips to keep that inner flame burning brightly, not just for one time, but to light your path every day. Tips for daily practice. First, don't let this special act become a meaningless routine. Many people make the mistake of just doing it out of habit, without truly being present. But the third eye doesn't respond to endless repetition, it responds to awareness. Every time you apply the cinnamon, pause for a moment. Breathe. Focus your attention on your brow as if it's a sacred place. Don't just put the spice there, also put your heart into the action. Second, combine this practice with meditation. After you apply the cinnamon, sit quietly. Just observe. Don't try to force visions or expect big flashy effects. The wisdom from your Ajna is more like a quiet sunrise than a sudden explosion. Let any feelings or sensations come up without judging them. If an image appears, welcome it. If there's silence, listen to it. Meditating with an active third eye doesn't just make your meditation deeper, it fine-tunes it, like a perfectly tuned string. Third, pay attention to what your inner vision shows you in your daily life. The third eye isn't just for mystical experiences. When it awakens, you'll notice it in how you understand other people, how you see patterns in your own past, and how you connect the hidden pieces of a conversation or a decision. After you practice, pay close attention to your intuition. Write it down. Give it a voice. Your vision becomes clearer when you trust what it tells you. Fourth, use cinnamon respectfully and gently. You don't need a lot, a small amount, perhaps mixed with a little water or oil, is enough. The goal isn't to irritate your skin, but to gently awaken the awareness of that spot. The practice should feel like a soft energetic touch, not a difficult physical challenge. Everyone's body is different, so pay attention to how yours reacts. Fifth, keep your inner channel clear in every way. Activating the Ajna isn't just about putting on cinnamon. It also means being mindful of what you eat, what you think, and what you feel. The eyes of your soul can't see clearly if they're clouded by emotional confusion, noisy thoughts, or constant digital distractions. Make time in your life for quiet moments, for deep thought, for questions that don't need an immediate answer. Because in the end, seeing with the third eye isn't about seeing strange things, it's about seeing the sacred in everyday life, the symbolic in things that seem unimportant. And if you can do that, then cinnamon is more than just a spice, it's your helper, your key, your inner light. Not everything you see is perceived with your physical eyes. There's a kind of sight that isn't about your eyeballs or outside light. It's a vision that comes from deep within you, from a place beyond time, beyond your body, and beyond your thoughts. That place is right behind your forehead, and it's been waiting for you to call on it. The third eye isn't a fantasy or an empty idea, it's a hidden ability, like an antenna that can pick up the universe's most subtle truths if you give it the right conditions to open. As we've seen, that opening can start with something as simple as the conscious touch of cinnamon on your skin, paired with your clear intention and quiet focus. This isn't a new idea. It echoes ancient spiritual practices that understood that sacred experiences don't need grand gestures, but presence. That deep truths don't force themselves upon you, they reveal themselves. And that your body, when treated with respect as a temple, responds with wisdom. So, putting cinnamon on your brow isn't a trick or a game, it's a powerful energetic statement, a ritual act that tells your soul, I'm ready to see. I'm willing to remember. I'm prepared to receive what only my inner eye can show me. But remember, waking up the third eye isn't about having strange visions or trying to escape the physical world. It's about seeing life with more clarity, more depth, and more truth. It's about seeing the invisible in the everyday, hearing the hidden message in silence, and feeling the order behind what seems like chaos. When you practice this with respect, you'll start living differently. Your choices will become more wise, your relationships more genuine, and your purpose clearer. That's because the eye that opens no longer searches for light, it shines it from within. If this message has resonated with you, if you felt something within you remember a forgotten truth, then I invite you to take the next step. Subscribe to this channel to keep exploring the soul's secrets, subtle power techniques, and ancient wisdom that can transform your life. Like this video, leave your comments, and share it with other seekers who, like you, are awakening to their inner vision. Because when we share wisdom, the sacred fire grows, and every spark can ignite a new awakening.